Hello and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here, because today we're going to play the role of medical detectives. We are going to uncover the hidden biological root cause behind that chronic daily tension, the random pain, and those incredibly frustrating twitches you might be experiencing. Seriously, we're going to completely change how you look at the way your muscles and your nervous system operate. It's going to be a real game changer. So get ready to take some notes, because we are getting right into it.
Today, we're moving way beyond generic advice like, just reduce your stress. Here's our agenda. 1. Mysterious body symptoms. 2. The calcium and magnesium switch. 3. Cardiovascular and nervous system impacts. 4. Teeth grinding. 5. The magnesium protocol. And 6. Transdermal magnesium. Let's jump in.
Section 1. Mysterious body symptoms.
You know, so many of us suffer from these modern ailments that we think are just, completely unrelated to each other. We treat them as totally isolated incidents. But I want to ask you a very direct question right now. Why do your muscles never fully relax? And just to be super clear, we aren't talking about bad posture today. Actually, scratch that. We're not talking about a lack of stretching or holding tension from a bad workday either. We are talking about something happening at a literal microscopic level. Picture this. You wake up and your trapezius muscles are tight. By evening, they're still tight. You get that unpredictable, super annoying eye twitch. Or maybe you've got relentless jaw tension, teeth grinding, tension headaches, or even heart palpitations and early morning leg cramps. Throw insomnia into the mix too. These seem totally disconnected, right? But what if I told you that every single one of these expressions traces back to a single, underlying and highly misunderstood cellular culprit?
Section 2. The calcium and magnesium switch.
Okay, let's dive into this, because this is where the core science gets incredibly fascinating. Let's look at the actual cellular mechanics at play here. This fact alone is going to absolutely shatter the preconceptions most of us have. We've been told our whole lives that calcium is just for building strong bones, right? But the truth? A staggering 99% of calcium's function involves cell communication and signaling. Calcium governs every single muscle contraction in your body. It regulates every nerve impulse. It's the driver of every single heartbeat. That tension in your shoulders? Yeah, that is literally calcium at work.
Think of it like a biological on-off switch. Under normal conditions, calcium flows into your muscle cells passively. This is the biological on switch. Your muscle contracts. Simple enough. But relaxation? Well, that requires the reverse. Calcium has to be actively pumped back out of the cell, and this requires energy, ATP. Now here is the absolutely crucial point. ATP cannot push calcium out without magnesium. Magnesium is the essential cofactor here. Without it, the off switch is completely broken, and the muscle is permanently locked in the on position.
Now, to really drive home how important this off switch is, let's look at a slightly dark but highly memorable biological fact: rigor mortis. When a person dies, ATP production simply ceases. Without energy and without magnesium, calcium just cannot be pumped out. Every muscle becomes locked in a permanent, immovable state of contraction. This is stuck calcium taken to its absolute extreme. In our daily lives, a magnesium deficiency operates on a spectrum of this exact same mechanism, causing that chronic tightness and cramping we just talked about. Wild, right?
Section 3. Cardiovascular and nervous system. Let's slow down for a second here, because we have to look beyond just simple muscle tightness and focus on the more severe internal impacts. The dangerous reality is that when magnesium is chronically low, the calcium doesn't just stay stuck in your muscles. It's not that polite. Displaced calcium actually migrates into soft tissues where it absolutely does not belong. It accumulates in arterial walls, contributing to plaque and elevated blood pressure. It settles in the kidneys, forming calcium oxalate stones. It even deposits into joint tissue, driving the inflammation we see in arthritis. It's a completely systemic issue.
And hey, if you want pharmaceutical validation of this biology, look no further than major medications. Doctors frequently prescribe calcium channel blockers for hypertension and arrhythmias. And what do these drugs do? They artificially block calcium from entering muscle cells, which is literally exactly what adequate magnesium enables your body to do naturally. Furthermore, memantine, which is a major Alzheimer's drug, works by mimicking the exact way magnesium naturally regulates NMDA receptors in your nervous system. The science is so well established here that entire classes of drugs are basically built to mimic natural magnesium.
Section 4. Teeth grinding due to lack of magnesium.
Let's bring the focus back to a highly relatable and honestly incredibly frustrating symptom that so many of us might be dealing with right now: jaw tension and nocturnal teeth grinding, also known as bruxism. Why does this happen mostly at night? Well, magnesium levels in your body actually follow a circadian rhythm. The absolute lowest point of your magnesium concentration happens in the early morning hours, right before you wake up. Because of this predictable drop, your body has the least capacity to regulate calcium during the night. That is exactly why this specific biological window triggers nighttime teeth grinding, those sudden early morning leg cramps that jolt you awake, and statistically speaking, the highest risk for sudden heart events. It's a localized lack of magnesium precisely when your body needs it the most.
Section 5. Standard Magnesium Glycinate Protocol.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the massive, totally counterintuitive medical warning regarding what not to do. Listen closely. If you are currently taking a calcium supplement, you really need to consider stopping. The problem for most people isn't insufficient calcium. Calcium is super abundant in our food and daily multivitamins. The real problem is calcium that cannot be regulated because your magnesium is just too low. If you add more calcium to a broken on switch, you are literally just throwing fuel on the fire and worsening your stuck calcium symptoms. Instead, we've got to replenish our magnesium. And the most therapeutically effective form for this is magnesium glycinate. Why glycinate? Well, because the glycine amino acid enhances absorption and serves as a calming neurotransmitter for your brain, which is great for promoting sleep. Depending on your severity, the clinical targets vary. For mild symptoms, like a random twitch, aim for 400 to 600 milligrams a day, split up. For moderate symptoms, like teeth grinding or cramps, you're looking at 600 to 900 milligrams. And for severe symptoms, like arrhythmias, it can take 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams daily across several doses. Notice how much higher these are than your standard daily recommended minimums.
But, we also have to manage expectations here. You simply cannot fix months or years of cellular depletion over a single weekend. It doesn't work like that. Better sleep quality usually happens within a few nights, which is great. That annoying eye twitch, give it 1 to 2 weeks. Deep muscle cramping takes several weeks of consistent use. And for major cardiac arrhythmias or full systemic repletion, you're looking at several months of dedication. Consistency is everything here for sure.
Section 6. Supplementing Magnesium Transdermally.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Oral supplements totally upset my stomach. If that's you, transdermal, or through the skin, absorption is a clinically meaningful alternative that bypasses the digestive tract entirely. Step 1, Epsom salt baths. A nice 20-minute soak, 2 to 3 times per week in magnesium sulfate, measurably raises your systemic blood magnesium levels. Step 2, topical magnesium oil. This is magnesium chloride, and you can apply it directly to the exact targeted areas that are bothering you. Just rub it right into your upper traps, your calves, or your feet right before bed for some amazing localized relief. Before we wrap up, I want to briefly touch on one fascinating biological hack, the pH factor. Calcium regulation in the nervous system is highly dependent on your body's pH. If you're eating a lot of refined carbs and sugars, your system tilts too alkaline and calcium starts misbehaving, causing twitches even if you have enough magnesium. Crazy, right? The quick practical fix? A little diluted apple cider vinegar drank through a straw, or betaine HCl to support your stomach acid. This corrects systemic pH and helps put that runaway calcium back under control.
So what does this all mean? It brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought. Next time your jaw aches, your eye twitches, or your shoulders feel like solid concrete, I really want you to ask yourself, are you treating the symptom, or are you actually fixing the cell's switch? Chronic tension is not just the cost of a busy modern life, it's a biological signal. You now have the knowledge of how the calcium-magnesium switch actually works and the exact protocols to flip that switch off. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Stay curious, stay focused, and go start fixing that cellular